Days of victory ride, emotions of a year, of work and sweat, guts, glory, and fear.
Put me on the 1 foot line and give me 2 minutes to go and give me all 3 of my timeouts and give me my boys. And then let me hear my name over the loudspeaker. Let me hear the roar of the crowd. Let me have them booing on one side. Let me get in and call plays, see the eyes grow as I call these plays and talk to them. Let me feel the hair on my back crawl up. I mean, that's what the Super Bowl does to you.
All sights are set on one glittering goal. The chance to play and win in the Super Bowl.
If we die together.
Amen.
You can get it done. You can get it done. What's more, you gotta get it done.
There's a gleam, men. There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
Want a piece of that championship? Put it in here.
After all these years, Mike, that I could come out here and be nice and relaxed. Jeez, I'm a nervous wreck.
Hey, guys, where else would you rather be?
Indeed, where else would you rather be? That was the question of the great Marv Levy. He was a 4-time Super Bowl coach. This is the Super Bowl extravaganza for NFL points, picks, and props. I am Kyle Garlett in Denver, Colorado. He is Ben O'Connell in Chicago, Illinois. And we got Tommy Birch in Springfield, Massachusetts. Boys, it is here. The big game, the game we've all been waiting for. Can you believe we are here after this is our 23rd episode of the season, going all the way back to the beginning of September before week 1 kicked off. We are now ready for the big game. And man, I'm excited. It's going to be a great game. We've got the 2-1 seeds. We'll actually, when we start talking about the game, we'll get into the tail of the tape. It's really interesting how evenly matched this game is. Guys, let's go ahead and start ourselves off with a quiz. We've got a special Super Bowl quiz tonight. You guys have been doing quizzes all season long. That's obviously the most fun part of the show for all of us involved. Certainly for me, because I have yet to miss a question. Could be because I looked up the answers beforehand. We're going to go ahead. Actually, going to have a little background music to get us kind of lay the track here for our quiz here. That sound here so that we can actually still hear it a little bit. Okay. This is our 20-second quiz. Even numbers means that Ben goes first. Ben, are you ready for the Super Bowl quiz?
I am so ready for the Super Bowl quiz, Kyle.
Okay. In the previous 56 Super Bowls, 55 of them have been sellouts. Which Super Bowl did not sell out?
The second, Super Bowl II.
That is incorrect. It was Super Bowl I.
Damn.
Super Bowl I did not sell out. The attendance well below seating capacity. Tommy, question to you. Where was that Super Bowl played?
Super Bowl I?
Where was Super Bowl I played?
Super Bowl I was played in L.A.
The stadium, please.
Wasn't it Memorial Coliseum?
It was indeed the Memorial Coliseum. 61,000 fans showed up for that game with a seating capacity of nearly 100,000. So well below seating capacity there. Can you imagine nowadays how much those ticket stubs are worth? You could have just gotten one for $10 because nobody was going to the game. Okay. Ben, back to you. What stadium has hosted the most Super Bowls? Stadium.
What stadium?
Yes, not city.
Would
stadium.
it be? Would it be MetLife? I don't know.
MetLife is hosting the most Super Bowls?
I don't. Yeah.
MetLife has hosted one Super Bowl.
Dang. Then it's obviously not that.
It's not MetLife. The Superdome, the New Orleans Superdome, has hosted 7 Super Bowls, and it is on track to host its 8th in 2015. Okay, Tommy, back to you. Where's the Super Bowl next year?
I'm going to say Arrowhead.
Sadly, Arrowhead, being a cold weather city, not really on the Super Bowl list. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, however, is in the rotation, and that is where the Super Bowl will be held next year. Actually, was going to be held in Las Vegas a year ago. Because of COVID, though, they bumped it back, and that's why the SoFi Stadium got moved up. But yeah, the Allegiant Stadium next Super Bowl. Okay, Ben, back to you. Who are the 4 teams to never play in the Super Bowl?
To never play in the Super Bowl.
There are 4 teams that have never appeared in a Super Bowl.
Texans.
Texans are 1.
Jags.
The Jaguars are 2.
Lions.
Correctamundo. You've got 3 of the 4. Who is that 4th team?
Never played in a Super Bowl. Wow. This is gonna kill me when I find it.
You will be disappointed. They came close. They came close a few times.
LAC?
No, the Los Angeles Chargers have actually been to a Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns.
Damn it, yeah.
Cleveland Browns got close a couple of times, but the damn Denver Broncos kept them out.
Gleam was not strong enough.
All right, Tommy, back to you. Super Bowl Sunday is the 2nd largest day for food consumption in the United States. What's the largest?
The largest day of food consumption? Thanksgiving.
You are correct.
Yeah!
We love our football with our food. All right, Ben, to you. From Super Bowl 19 to Super Bowl 31, the NFC won 13 straight Lombardi trophies. Who was the team to break that streak in Super Bowl 32?
Oh, that'd be the Denver Broncos.
It was indeed the Denver Broncos. Well done. All right, Tommy. The 2nd longest conference winning streak belongs to the AFC with 5 straight wins from Super Bowl 7 through Super Bowl 12.
Super Bowl 7 through 12.
Who broke that streak?
Well, Super Bowl 12 was in 78. And 78 was, I can only think of like 2 dominant teams. Oh, 78? 70.
It was an NFC team beating an AFC team.
Was it? No, that was Dallas. 78.
It was indeed the Dallas Cowboys beating the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
To break that streak. So
I don't know my Broncos history as well.
The Broncos have helped break 2 losing streaks in the Super Bowl. Okay, on to you. Back to you, Ben. In Super Bowl 12, won by the Cowboys, for the only time the MVP award was shared by 2 players. Who were those players?
I cannot tell you, but they were defensive players.
They were indeed defensive players.
One of them is really like, you know this player well. I don't know the other one, but I know one.
We'll just tell you, Harvey Martin and Randy White split the MVP award from Super Bowl 12. Okay, Tommy, to you. Cooper Kupp was the MVP of Super Bowl 56. Who was the previous non-quarterback to win the award?
I know this one. We are in New England. Julian Edelman in that really trash Super Bowl.
It was indeed Julian Edelman in a very bad Super Bowl. Ben, to you. Von Miller is the last defensive player to win the MVP. Who was the previous defensive player to win the award? You watched this game. Maybe not to conclusion, but you watched this game.
Sherman?
It was Malcolm Smith, the Seattle linebacker, in that 43-8.
Yeah, that's a blur, dude.
That was your MetLife Super Bowl there too.
Maybe that's why it's just ingrained.
All right, Tommy. 5 players have won multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Bart Starr was the first to win more than one. The most recent to win more than one was Eli Manning. Who are the other 3?
So it's Eli, Bart Starr. So then it's going to be and we're gonna have Tom Brady, obviously.
Tom Brady is for sure.
Is Steve Young in there?
Steve Young is not in there.
Multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Well, I know Joe Montana only got one. I'm trying to think of my guys here. Did Joe Montana get two? Should I call that?
He got more
Joe
than
Montana?
one. No, Joe Montana got more than one.
Joe Montana? I don't know why. I just thought that. No, that was just before Steve Young took over.
He didn't get all. He didn't get all of them because Jonathan
Jerry
Taylor
Rice.
got one. But
Jerry Rice stole one. Oh wait. Peyton.
Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw is your answer. Those were.
Oh wait, no.
five.
Von Miller won that one over Peyton for the Broncos.
And Payne didn't do anything to give him
Peyton
an
did not
MVP
deserve
status.
that. No. He barely deserved to be on the team at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so Tommy, you are going to win this, but let's go ahead and do the tiebreaker just because it's fun. According to Nielsen, the most U.S. viewers ever for a Super Bowl was 114 million for Super Bowl 49, the Seahawks and the Patriots. Super Bowl II had the fewest viewers. How many U.S. viewers were there for Super Bowl II? Closest answer wins. So, Ben, you go ahead and go first with this. 114 million was the most. How many were the fewest?
Can you say the most again? I'm sorry, you said
114 million.
I'm gonna go with 26.7 million.
26.7. Okay, Tommy, your guess, please.
I'm gonna go under that. I'm gonna go. You know, I'm gonna take a long shot here for Super Bowl II. I'm gonna go with 1.1 million.
Wow. Well, there were more than 1.1 million. There were 39.12 million viewers for Super Bowl II. That was the lowest total. Super Bowl I was split between two networks, so they actually had 51 million when you combine both NBC and CBS together. So Super Bowl II, the fewest, 39.1 million viewers. But Tommy, you did win the quiz. That means when we get to our prop bets, you are going to present your props first. And let's go ahead and get to the game. We got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump right in. It is the Chiefs and the Eagles Sunday from Arizona. And the Chiefs, great year. They led the league in points, 16th in points against. You've got the offensive EPA, defensive EPA. Andy Reid, obviously, a terrific head coach. Patrick Mahomes. We are recording this Thursday night, and Patrick Mahomes has not yet been handed his second MVP, but we are going to go ahead and throw it on the board here because we're quite certain it is going to happen. Chiefs, the AFC West champions, 14-3 in the regular season. It's their seventh straight division title and their third trip to the Super Bowl in 4 years. Philadelphia Eagles, they were winners of the Super Bowl just 5 years ago. Nick Sirianni in his second year as a head coach. Jalen Hurts, All-Pro, second-team All-Pro, MVP and Offensive Player of the Year finalist. They only trailed the Chiefs in points per game in the regular season. A terrific defense. You can see the numbers there: offensive DVA and defensive DVA, both in the top 10, both top 5 for offensive and defensive EPA. This is their third division title in 6 years. I found this really interesting. So, adding in the playoffs, both teams are 16-3. Both teams have scored exactly 546 points when you include the playoffs. Both teams have 6 first and second team All-Pros. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is a first teamer. Travis Kelce is a first teamer. Jalen Hurts, the second team quarterback. And then Travis Kelce's older brother, Jason Kelce, also a first team All-Pro. Really, really intriguing match. But of course, you got Andy Reid, he's the winningest head coach for both of these franchises. Fun fact, when Andy Reid was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, they were 3-0 against the Chiefs. Now that he is the head coach of the Chiefs, he is 3-0 against the Eagles. So, Tommy, you are going to present your pick first, and you are going with the Kansas City Chiefs, who are getting 1.5 points.
Well, the reason that I have this is because I just don't think it's fair with everything the Chiefs have done this season to put the Eagles ahead of them. The Eagles have had very little playoff competition so far, and I feel like they haven't really been warmed up to it. This is college football. No, it's not college. This is playoff football, not regular season football, and they haven't really been shown what playoff football is. And I think the Chiefs are really going to lay it to them.
And you like the over as well, I believe, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is a great position to pick the over with two of the most electric offenses in football. It seems almost guaranteed at this point. Almost guaranteed.
Excellent. All right, Ben, to your pick. You also have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I am unfortunately going with the crazy Chiefs kingdom and the fandom that surrounds Kansas City and Arrowhead Stadium. I will also be taking over 50 points because, yeah, like I said, or like Tommy said, both of these offenses absolutely insane. Tell you who else is absolutely insane. Patrick freaking Mahomes. The dude can go horizontal and flick the ball 50 yards, hit a dude in the face mask. And you know what? In this game, in this Super Bowl, his receivers have proven that they will be catching those balls. Listen, it's unfair. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest football player to ever play. Clip it. This is the only time I'm ever going to say it. I'm going to hate every second of this game, but deep down inside, I love it because who doesn't love high-scoring football games? I'm going with the Chiefs and over 50.
All right. Well, I know we have not done very well in the past when we all pick the same team. So I'm actually going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles. No, just kidding. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. No, we're not doing the Eagles.
You had me there for a second.
Look, I think the Eagles are an excellent team. I like Jalen Hurts. I like his story. I like the way he gets benched in the national championship game by Nick Saban. He says, "No worries, I'll just transfer to Oklahoma." He has a great senior season there. Well, actually, he'd already graduated. He was a grad student when he was playing at Oklahoma. Gets drafted a little later by the Eagles. Got a lot of guys, including the guy who got benched for Tua, drafted ahead of him. But now here he is in the Super Bowl. Of all the people who were drafted in 2020, he is the first guy to make it to the Super Bowl. And I just like his perseverance. I like his attitude. I like a lot of things about this team. They were 31st in sacks last year. Now first in sacks. What a turnaround! What an amazing turnaround! And obviously, adding Hassan Reddick has been a big part of that. I know I'm talking a lot about the Philadelphia Eagles because they are a very good team. But I was reading this post today. He was talking about. Let me get the numbers here correctly. So the Eagles. So this is actually for Jared. When they face a quarterback who does a really good job of avoiding sacks when under pressure, the three top quarterbacks that they faced this year, who are good at avoiding sacks under pressure, were Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, and Davis Mills, and they struggled against all three of those offenses. The Texans, the Lions, and the Cowboys, the second time they played them, had big games against them. And it's because when the quarterback is good at avoiding those sacks, their defense breaks down a little bit. Well, who is the best quarterback in the league this year at avoiding sacks when under pressure? Well, it's Patrick Mahomes. And he's just phenomenal. This is also Jalen Hurts is a great story, and I'm really glad that he's a finalist for all these awards. But when you factor in where he has been, he's just not been under duress much this year. And let me make sure I find the number here. I want to be right with this. I'm losing track of where it went. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So last season, Jalen Hurts threw 48% of his passes when the win probability for the Eagles was less than 40%. This year, he has thrown 5% of his passes when the win probability was less than 40%. He has been playing comfortable football all season long because the Eagles have had leads all season long because their schedule has been soft. By a lot of metrics, they are the 30th or 31st ranked schedule in the league. And when he gets into situations of duress, which will happen in this game. He tends to not be at nearly as good, whereas Patrick Mahomes doesn't have that same drop off. And I just like you've got the best quarterback and you're getting points. Typically, when you're betting on the best quarterback in the game, you are having to give points. We're getting points to take Patrick Mahomes, and why would you not do that? I like the Chiefs. I like them to win this game. Straight up, I think that they can win this game by 7 or 8 points. I don't think that it's going to necessarily come down to a field goal at the end, although it might. If the Eagles score early, then we're probably in for a dogfight. If the Chiefs can get up early, then I think the Chiefs can be pretty comfortable. So we'll see. That first quarter will really kind of tell the story as how the whole game is going to go, in my opinion.
I don't think anyone could have guessed with your wall and that jersey, Kyle, that you were going to pick the Chiefs on this one. I mean, like, I thought you were a diehard Eagles fan. This is going to be, disappointing.
Yeah, so we got Derek Thomas that we're wearing tonight. I'm going to Kansas City this weekend. We're probably going to have Derek on the plane. We'll have Buck Buchanan, an old throwback Buck Buchanan jersey for Saturday. And I wore Creed Humphrey for the AFC Championship game, so probably Creed is going to get the nod again on Super Bowl Sunday. He came through in a big way. So so that's my plan to spend
it's
the
It's
weekend.
good to show these fans that you aren't a bandwagoner. Like you have to pull out, some real players, to be like, hey, I've been here for a minute.
Well, yeah, you can see from the patch here. I got this jersey in 1999. It's been through a few tailgates. There's been a few barbecue stains.
Hey man, this man had to watch Trent Green in that jersey. He is a certified Chiefs fan.
Trent Green was like top 5 quarterbacks. We had Tyler Palko and Brody Croyle and Matt Blunden and Tyler Thigpen and it's.
I'm glad you got Patrick. I'm glad you. You deserved it. Deep down.
It was some rough goes. When the big trade is Matt Castle, and then the Matt Castle now is the guy who's gonna take you to the promised land. You're asking your fan base to really commit.
You forget about Matt Castle. That's one of those irrelevant football players that you'll hear about at some point and be like, oh, that he existed.
Broncos MVP.
He did exist.
We always thank him for his service.
I will always remember him for his Patriots career.
A couple of betting notes that I thought were interesting. The under has hit in each of the last 4 Super Bowls. We all think the over is going to hit here.
It's time for a change.
In 4 straight Super Bowls, the under has hit. This is the youngest quarterback matchup in history. Combined age of 51 years, 337 days on Super Bowl Sunday. Youngest quarterback matchup in history. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about how it's the first matchup between 2 black quarterbacks. And one last note, doesn't really bode well for us. The last 6 passing yards leaders in the Super Bowl, 0-6. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Rich Gannon, Kurt Warner, and Dan Marino all lost their games when they led the NFL in passing yards. So hopefully Patrick can break that streak. All right, guys, we've got a lot of props to get to because that is why we love the Super Bowl betting. All things proposition. Tommy, you are the Super Bowl expert, so we're going to go ahead and start with you. We're going to start with your team props for the Chiefs and your first prop.
All right, so I have the Chiefs' highest scoring quarter, having the highest scoring quarter, which is plus 120 money, which I find quite interesting because even if the Chiefs do lose this game, which I don't expect them to, they are one of the streakier teams in football. The Chiefs are a team that could score 0 points in the first quarter and score 4 touchdowns in the second. It's just how they play. They're not hyper consistent on offense every quarter, but they always find a way to get it done, and I feel like that's going to happen in this game too.
Now, I remember a Chiefs game a couple of years ago where they beat the Raiders 28-14, and they scored all 28 points in the second quarter. Yes, you are correct. They can be very, very streaky. And at plus money, I think this is a solid little bet here. Your second bet.
So my second bet is also related to their scoring and winning. So it's the Chiefs' first score and the win. I don't necessarily think they're going to score a touchdown on their first drive. They can be on and off with that, but just the first score of the game and winning the game, giving plus 215 money, that that doesn't seem too bad to me. I feel like if they could very easily force a 3-and-out if Philly gets the ball first. Their special teams game is incredible. Their defense can pick it up when they need to. I think it's a good bet.
Yeah, at plus 215, you can't complain.
And then
And
my
your
last one,
final bet of the Chiefs.
I have the Kansas City Chiefs alternate spread at minus 2.5, and that gives plus 116 money. I mean, Kyle, you yourself were saying that this could be a 7 to 8 point win. If you are confident in a 7 to 8 point win, an alternate spread at minus 2.5 for the Chiefs with plus 116 money, I know you're betting that. And I know that a lot of other people should bet that too.
Well, the money line is paying plus 105. If you think the Chiefs are going to win, they're probably going to win. If it's a close game, it's probably going to be a field goal game. So you're still hitting on this bet here, but considerably better than that money line bet. So if you're going to bet the money line, why not tease it up to 2.5 and take the better spread and take the better payout? I see Ben is nodding feverishly there. You are on board with that, Ben?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna load up on that. I'm probably gonna take a couple more points too, because that's how much faith I have in Mahomes. Eli, I don't like saying that, but yeah, I
Taste
really
weird
like
in your
that. There's
mouth,
a
though?
lot of good. Yeah, but I'm not gonna say it and get sound bited like that. I'm not. But yeah, no, I like that. There's a lot of value on that line. That's a great bet.
This is an easy pick for me. This feels like the pick.
Not this again. Oh no.
Listen to Tommy. He knows. All right, Tommy, those are your Chiefs team picks. Let's go to your Philadelphia Eagle team props.
So yeah,
And
my
here's your
first
first one.
pick. Oh, sorry for cutting you off. I'm just so excited to talk about this one.
Yeah.
Eagles first drive being a field goal attempt. I'm a huge fan of this because I really do think that in the first drive, both teams sometimes can struggle to get hot really quick. And I think Philly, because of their youth and a bit of inexperience tied in there too, have shown to make games a little bit closer in the first quarter. So seeing them, their offense is still great. So I'm not going to say that they punt on the first drive. Their offense is still great. The Chiefs' defense was not the best of all of the conference championship opponents. But if they get down there and get into field goal range and kick that, you're getting plus 340 money on that, and that is major.
No, I like that. I mean, like you say, there's always jitters when you first start a Super Bowl, and it's a weird environment. It's not there's nobody's cheering. It's a weird place to play a football game. If you've ever been inside a Super Bowl stadium, and I think guys take a second or two to get used to that. So people don't just march up and down the field and score touchdowns typically. In fact, what did I see? The last team to score, it's been 32 years since the team took the opening kickoff and went and scored a touchdown. So so field goal attempt is and at 340. You got to like that. All right, your next one.
My next one is the Eagle to convert their first third down. And this kind of ties into the fact that the Chiefs defense is not one of the best. And as much as I think that the Eagles offense is going to have a little bit of jitters, I think the Chiefs defense might have a little bit too, because there is a lot of young guys on that defense as well. And I think that the Eagles get into a 3rd-and-1 situation around midway through the field, 3rd-1, 3rd-and-2. They just, they don't get worried. They stay patient. They run the ball and they get a first down. I don't think that a 4-and-out, if I'm going to rock with them getting to the to field goal range, I'm also going to rock with them converting a 3rd down attempt. The first one, at least.
Well, no, they're one of the best in the league at converting third down, so this makes a lot of sense.
Plus 115 money, too.
Yeah.
I like that.
And your last one, please.
Yeah, my last one, Eagles record the first sack of the game. And I think that the Eagles' defensive line is just beyond elite. And I understand that Chris Jones and you got the young George Karlaftis on that Chiefs defense, but Hassan Reddick has shown throughout the last couple of games that he is an elite playoff edge rusher. And I think that if he gets one free, and then you got the two interior guys, you got Fletcher Cox in there, you got Ndamukong Suh who got hit last week too, a QB hit, I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is a great stacked, experienced defensive line, and I can see them getting the first sack of the game. I don't think they're going to be the best defensive unit through the entire game, but I can see them getting the first hit.
No, I like that. All right, let's move on to your player props, and starting with the Kansas City Chiefs. Speaking of George Karlaftis,
he was on the mind, I guess. George Karlaftis over half a sack. I think that he's been very consistent throughout the entirety of the regular season, and with the playoffs, they tend to they give their players a lot of rest, but the main guys are in. The main guys play, and George Karlaftis can be a main guy in this defense, and he has shown potential and flashes of firepower. Playing both a little bit interior and exterior on the defensive line, and plus 150 money on over half a sack. I mean, that sounds kind of good, especially if things get a little bit rocky in the secondary and, the wide receivers are running around trying to get open.
Well, I am a big fan of the Greek Freak, and I think that this is a solid bet. All right. Isaiah Pacheco.
I'm going to keep riding the Isaiah Pacheco train, the hype train. I don't know what it is about him. No matter, he always tends to have good performances when I bet on him, but then he has good performances in the other aspects that I'm not betting on. So, but you know what? This is playoff football, Super Bowl football. This guy has been pretty good throughout the playoffs. They're going to give him the ball when they need to. And teams can be a little safer when it comes to the Super Bowl as well because they don't want to risk anything, make any poor decisions. If they're on the goal line, we would love to see Patrick Mahomes throw a little dump pass to the inside to Travis Kelce coming on a shovel pass. But in that situation, I feel like in the Super Bowl, second down and goal, they're going to hand the ball off.
All right, and your last Chiefs player prop.
And then Jerick McKinnon, who is one of the better players of the second half of the season, both running the ball and catching the ball, specifically catching the ball. He's been an incredible receiving threat for Patrick Mahomes out of the backfield when things get rough. And 43.5 total rushing plus receiving yards at minus 20. It is seemed to be favoritized, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, and I think that we're going to see probably a lot of McKinnon because he's better in pass pro. And they're probably going to, they were doing this last week against the Bengals where they were having a back or a tight end, stay back, chip a guy, and then drop out, 3 or 4 yards into the flat. I would expect to see McKinnon do that a few times. Well, and again, when the Cowboys had their success against this Eagles defense, they had a lot of passes to the running backs. And I would expect to see a lot of that same from the Chiefs on Sunday. All right. Player props for the Chiefs are done. Let's go to your player props for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I love Kenneth Gainwell in the playoffs. He had an over 100-yard rushing week. He's been so versatile. And whenever you see his team number in the backfield, what is he, number 19? I mean, you see him back there and you get scared. Because I know he's going to break off something because he's great in open field and he gets up the sideline really well and he's not afraid of contact. Over 20.5 rushing yards with how he's played in the playoffs seems like a lot to me. If I'm betting anything, it's this one.
All right. Your second bet.
My second bet is an A.J. Brown receiving touchdown at plus 135. I looked at the anytime touchdown and it seemed to not give as much as the receiving touchdown. And I said, you know what? If I just stick to the receiving touchdown here, I'm going to make a little more money. So the plus 135 here feels like a very safe bet, especially since we are all rooting for A.J. Brown to score one of these days.
Well, we'll chat a little bit more about the differences between A.J. Brown receiving touchdown and anytime touchdown when Ben presents his picks, because he might have gone the other route, and we will discuss. Your final player prop for the Philadelphia Eagles.
So our Philadelphia Eagles kicker, Jake Elliott, over 6.5 kicking points. I expect the Eagles to be in more field goal kicking situations than the Chiefs. I think if the Chiefs score, it's going to be touchdowns. And I think that the Eagles Jake Elliott's a great kicker. And sometimes they have trouble getting that offense moving more than the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have been a little more consistent this year in my eyes. Jake Elliott over 6.5 kicking points. That's 2 field goals and a PAT. I mean, that seems like an easy bet. Minus 145 says it too.
No, I like it. All right. And your exotic props. Sometimes
Lord
people
have
call
mercy.
these novelty props, but these are the props that you only get for the Super Bowl. Coin toss.
Coin toss tails. Tails never fails. That's all I need to say.
All right. Well, we're gonna have a toss off. That doesn't sound good at all.
Can we soundbite that?
We will discuss that because there may be it's possible that Ben is in total disagreement, and I'm certain that he has some very good reasons why he chose heads over tails. And I look forward to hearing the analysis and the analytics breakdown as to why heads is better than tails. But what I noticed from these, and apparently I wasn't paying enough close attention with the coin toss. It's even money. They're not even taking any juice from this bet. It's just a 50-50 bet, no juice at all. So jump on the coin toss, people, because you're not paying the sports book anything. It's just straight up 50-50. I like it. All right. Your next bet, Tommy.
So I have the jersey number of the first touchdown score being over the number 11.5. So if the jersey number of the player is 12 or above of the first touchdown, you get plus 105 money. I love this. I think that if the Chiefs get on offense first, I'm going to like it even more because I don't have to worry about a Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. But even if we're talking about
Jerick McKinnon, who wears number 1, you got Juju wearing number 9.
They're not going to get the first touchdown of the game. Come on. Let's be real. But it's just
Pacheco wears number 10.
But imagine if it goes to the Eagles and we have all of those receivers. It's tough. There's a reason it's plus 105 money. But that little bit and all that room, you have tight ends, you have high number receivers, you have running backs all in that over 20 range. Come on. Statistics are making me feel plus 105.
All right. When Jalen Hurts runs it in for the touchdown, we'll see.
I'm not going to be a happy camper.
All right. Your last exotic prop.
So I have the end of, I know this is basic doing the Gatorade pour, but you got to do it.
No, it's not basic at all.
Traditional.
There is research behind this bet. I guarantee it.
So actually the fact that I was looking at the numbers, and the plus money on all these different colors is actually drastically different. There is like purple was at like plus 750. And we talked about it earlier in the season. There's so many different like colors but I like orange here. I just like imagine the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, and they're in their white jerseys, right? And then you see Andy Reid with his red jersey, his red top, and his little button down that he has, the little polo that he always wears, and then you just see the orange Gatorade all over that red. It just like feels right. It scratches that itch in your brain,
Well, when the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54, Andy Reid was dunked in orange Gatorade. So
even
the
better.
Chiefs, they have a history of having orange Gatorade on the sidelines. So there you go. I don't hate that as a prop at all. It is worthy to note that when the last time the Eagles won, it was yellow Gatorade that was dumped on Doug Peterson back when that happened. All right, Ben, we are ready for your picks, correct?
All righty, here we go. Let me just paint the narrative really quickly. The Chiefs played the Super Bowl. No, you can show that. The Chiefs played the Super Bowl, and it's always the same thing. They go down at first, and you go, they're out of it. And then Patrick Mahomes does Patrick Mahomes-like stuff. And you know what? In every Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes has thrown 2 interceptions. I'm going to get Chiefs over 1.5 turnovers. I think that they do turn the ball over. Plus, this isn't just interceptions. So if there's a freak fumble or something, maybe I cash in on that. But I do see this to be a similar game as the previous 2 Chiefs Super Bowls, where the Eagles will jump out to a lead, and then I think that the Chiefs come back over time and just win it. that way. So yeah, my first bet over here is going to be Chiefs over 1.5 turnovers at plus 155.
All right.
The second bet here I got for the Chiefs is I like them to score a field goal as their first score method. In my head, I see it getting to like a 14-3 point by like the midway of the second quarter. Uh, I I I don't know what it is. I just can't. Seeing the Chiefs do good in the Super Bowl early, it's just not computing in my brain. So I'm gonna go with the field goal as the first score. Get that plus 170. I feel like there might be a little value there.
All right.
And then with that in my head, if we already have one field goal on the board, I'm sure that we'll probably get one in the second half too. I'm gonna take one or over 1.5 field goals. That's in plus money at plus 105. Feel like it probably shouldn't be. I'm gonna go with it and feel pretty confident in that one actually.
Well, Harrison Butker did have a great AFC Championship game, kicked 3 field goals. So, yeah, I mean, although interesting, when he injured his knee early in the year and ended up having to miss time, it was because of the turf in Arizona. So we'll hopefully they have fixed that problem before Sunday's game. All right, your team props for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh yeah. So talking about that early lead, like I said, 14-3. I see the Eagles over 1.5 touchdowns in the first half. I just think that they go out there and get their fans really drunk by halftime to get really violently disappointed by the end of the game. I'm gonna take Eagles over 1.5 touchdowns in the first half plus 105.
All right, I like it.
The second one is over 3.5 punts at minus 110. 4 punts seems reasonable, right? Like 3 in the third quarter, 1 somewhere else throughout the game, like at minus 110. I know it's in minus money, but that still feels too close to even to not be jumping on it. I'm gonna take the Eagles over 3.5 punts. I'm betting on the Chiefs defense. What a crazy thing for me to be saying right now.
Well, I mean, the Eagles did punt 4 times in the NFC Championship game, so there is precedent here. All right, and your last Eagles.
Oh yeah, I got a touchdown for the Eagles first score method. I'm not ballsy enough to say it's going to be a pick six, but in my wildest dreams, it's a beautiful pick six. I'm not going to lie, right in that opening drive. So I'm gonna take the first. I don't know why. I'm gonna take the first score method touchdown minus 200. I probably won't actually bet this because minus 200 is a crazy line for a prop bet in my opinion. But yeah, no, I see this one hitting.
I mean, come on, who doesn't like C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Darius Slay? Like, you got to root for him, right?
Right.
The former
Doesn't have to be on
Detroit
offense.
Lion legends.
Yeah, no, he's just Slay now. Didn't he announce that like at the media day people were calling him Darius Slay and he's like, I'm just Slay. Just call me Slay. So,
It sounds
yeah,
like a 2000
no more Darius.
like
No
emo
more
teenager
Darius.
that's
Get ready
calling
for his
themselves
mixtape.
like lighter or something.
It's awesome.
All right. Your player props starting with the Chiefs. Player
Oh
prop
yeah.
1.
I'm gonna take Travis Kelce anytime touchdown and a Chiefs win at plus 195. The Chiefs are coming back in the second half. They're going to be just airing it out. I don't see how Kelce doesn't just make a clutch touchdown. He is a trusted target of Mahomes. He's going to be looking for it when it breaks down. Hey, man. Then you get the money line kind of boosted to plus 195. I like it. And every time I've bet this in the playoffs, it's worked. So I'm going to just keep hitting it until it doesn't.
Well, Kelce has a pair of touchdowns in these playoffs. He's got like 13 playoff touchdowns in his career. Second now all time to Jerry Rice. Yeah, Kelce always comes up big in these moments.
You're so good with that plus team win thing. Whenever it's always beautiful the numbers you get out of that. Like plus 195 money is wild to me.
I know, right? I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes over 18.5 rushing yards. I feel like this number is low because of that ankle. And I think that people are scared and forgetting that he looked fine in the AFC Championship. Do you look 100%? No, but you know what? A 95% Patrick Mahomes is better than a 100% 90% of the quarterbacks out there. Like, what do you want, dude? Like, So even with that, I like him going over 18.5. I think he's had plenty of time to recover. I think that he breaks one or two, to get to a first down because the Eagles aren't expecting it. Minus 115, it feels like good value for this.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the ankle injury, this number would be up around 28, 29 yards, because you've got to figure that with that pass rush, the pocket's going to break down, a good 4 or 5 times, and 2 or 3 of those times he's going to go scramble for yards, and all he needs, is a couple of 8, 9 yard runs, and he's got your over there. So I think that's a pretty solid bet when you look at how the Eagles defense will play him and what he's going to have to do. And your last of your Chiefs player props.
Yeah, I got Chris Jones over a quarter of a sack at minus 135. I was looking at this and I was like, how is this not like minus 151, minus 175? Because I would play it up to that point. It seems like free money. He's going to be getting there. That he's feeling it. This could very well be, a standout performance from Jones. Yeah. So over a quarter of a sack, what are we doing here? Yeah, I'm gonna take that all day at minus 135.
Yeah, no, I think so too. All right, your player props for the Eagles.
Yeah, I got Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Probably early on. I think their first touchdown they score on offense because that pick six is coming. But that first offensive touchdown I think will probably be on the ground with Hurts. They're not gonna want to test that arm out in this big game and put him through all the nerves. Kind of, get into the lead, kind of calm down, settle down before we actually try to do, rely on you too much on the arm wise. And he has the legs to back it up. I like, even if it's just a run from like the 5 yard line, I could see him just scrambling in. I got that at minus 115.
It's gonna be receiving. It's gonna be receiving. Philly special.
Philly special makes a return
all over again.
Well, that whole rugby scrum sneak that they do, they can do that from the 3 yard line and get him in. So yeah, no, I like him to score.
That's one of my favorite plays in football.
I think that they rely on his legs a lot to get into the end zone primarily, and more than most teams would expect. And if you're not been watching every game this year, coming into the Super Bowl, you're just more of a casual football fan. You might not be expecting what I'm about to tell you, but Jalen Hurts under 1.5 passing touchdowns at minus 125. I think it's because he gets more success with his legs. This is a running team. They're going to be running the football, trying to take time off the clock so Patrick doesn't have time to cook, because he will. He will have a very successful game, but I do not think he throws a lot of touchdowns. I'm going to take under 1.5 at minus 125. Tongue twister.
All right, and your final one, and it is that anytime touchdown for AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Versus the receiving touchdown. Now, do you want to change? Would you rather go with the receiving touchdown?
You can have it.
No. So this was the logic at 3 a.m. in the morning. I have been screwed over by this AJ Brown anytime touchdown, the receiving the past 2 weeks, right? Or past 2 games. And I was like, how crazy would it be if I was just so locked in that he was going to catch a touchdown, that some kind of freak fumble, scoop and score type of situation? And how mad will I be that I bet the receiving touchdown and not the anytime touchdown? Out of fear for my own safety, I'm going to bet the anytime touchdown, because I'm going to have to buy a new TV if I bet the receiving and then he just runs it in. What am I going to do? So
yeah, I think we should have a lot more plus money on a fumble recovery touchdown by AJ Brown.
It's plus 30 odds, difference, right? I gotta be safe there. That's the insurance.
After I saw this from you, I went in and looked. And the last time that AJ Brown scored a touchdown that wasn't a receiving touchdown was 2019. So he's not a jet sweep guy near the line or near the goal line. He's not that guy. He is the guy who they throw the ball to.
which is why you
So
don't see it coming this Sunday. Mark my
Yeah.
words.
I'm rolling with Tommy here because I would rather that plus 135 over the plus 105. But
Y'all better check this group chat after this trick play
yeah,
comes through.
no,
Y'all,
maybe he throws the Philly special to Hurts. You know, he's the one who throws the pass or whatever. Who knows?
be brutal.
All right, and we've got your exotic props.
Oh yeah, the first one.
And so, well, yeah. So we've got
okay,
the boy. I mean, it's bitter battle, bitter. Bet off here between the heads and the tails.
Oh yeah.
I don't know which way to go. I got to be honest. I'm not sure which way to lean right now.
You know, when I was in high school, our football captains would always go out and they would always tell themselves, "Tails never fails." Like Tommy, and then you know what? We would never win a single coin toss in that this season. We were like historically bad at coin tosses. All right, I'm gonna go with heads on this and remove the trauma from my high school sporting experience.
I think that is a you issue.
Hey man.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
If it hits, it's a me win. So yeah.
The nice thing is we will know before the game even kicks off which one of you guys is right on this one. So Eagles are going to win that. The Eagles are going to call heads.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry. The Chiefs get to call the tail because they're the away team. So the Chiefs get to call the coin. They're going to call tails, and the Eagles will win on heads, according to you.
Yes, because they're cocky. Tails never fails. Lands heads. Eagles win. That's plus 200 if you combine them.
I see how it is.
And I got to say, I'm hopeful that the Eagles do win because for whatever reason, the winner of the coin toss has now lost 8 straight Super Bowls. There's a coin toss curse. You don't want to win the coin toss.
Science.
8 straight. Yeah, absolutely. You could do the math. Do the math. It makes sense. So if the Eagles win the coin toss, the game is over at that point. You might not even want to even play it. Whoever calls the coin for the Chiefs gets the MVP award because they will have tricked the Eagles into losing the game based on a coin toss.
Huge.
It's the game within the game. All right, your final exotic prop.
Oh yeah, there's going to be an octopus. There is going to be an octopus, and this is what's going to happen. Chiefs by the fourth quarter are up easily like 16 or so, in 16, 17 range. Eagles come back in the fourth quarter, score 1 touchdown. It's going to be Jalen Hurts on that like a run, and then they just do the same thing again. They get the 2-point conversion. They go for the onside kick. Chiefs recover and just run out the clock. But there will be an octopus. The octopus will be on the losing team.
We should explain this to the people who maybe don't know what an octopus is. This is not a reference to one of the dishes being served in one of the fancier Super Bowl suites. This is not, obviously, Arizona being in the desert. They're not near the ocean, so we're not going to have octopi come out of the ocean and invade the city of Glendale. An octopus is when the same player scores a touchdown to get 6 points, and then he scores the 2-point conversion to get 8 points. That is an octopus.
And this is all information I knew when I sent that there would be an octopus at the Super Bowl to Kyle at 3:00 in the morning. I definitely did not think that there may be some underwater theme for the halftime show, or Terry Bradshaw just being a crazy old man like pregame with an octopus. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting an animal octopus because I knew what it meant. Obviously, that there will be an octopus. Yes, plus 1,400. Take those odds.
I've not seen Rihanna in concert to know if she does do any kind of sea life scenario, and I'm not familiar enough with her live act, but maybe we'll get more than one octopus for the game.
I mean, hey, you see those hockey games where people are throwing the octopi on the ice. Like that's a whole trend on the internet right now.
Well, it goes all the way back to the Detroit Red Wings, and do you know why it started? Because when the playoffs started, they needed 8 wins to win the Stanley Cup. 8 wins won you the cup, and so Wings fans would throw octopus on the ice to signify 8 wins to go before we got the cup. And it is been, generations and generations now where that has continued on. It's a good. Look, I love octopus. It's a
I
waste
do have
of
a
good
question
food.
though. Does that bet specify what an octopus is? Because now you have two ways of getting plus 1,400
I
money.
don't know, but if there is an animal octopus and no score octopus, I will be angrily writing DraftKings for my money because.
Well, DraftKings now is like giving everybody a break. Oh, the guy that you bet on, he didn't play the whole game. He got hurt. We'll go ahead and give you your money back. It's so annoying.
Why is it never for my bets? Why is it never
take a
for
risk? Yeah, my guy underperformed. That's just as bad as him getting hurt. Where's my money back?
Are you just asking them to take your money and keep it when you could have the option to have more money, Kyle? What's going on here, man?
Well, it just you make the bet, you take the risk, man up. If you lost, you lost. Don't complain. Oh, he got hurt. Well, it's sports. Guess what? People get hurt.
Yeah.
All right. That's my rant. It annoys me. All right. Now for my prop bets. And we will start with the Chiefs, just like you guys did. And Tommy, much like your third down conversion for the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to go with the Chiefs to convert their first third down. Eagles, second best team in the league at converting third downs. Chiefs, first best. I don't know, is first best a thing or just best? How about we just say that? We don't need to say first best. They are the best at converting third downs, and I think on their first third down of the game, they will convert. Chiefs over 100.5 rush yards. Very similar to you loving Isaiah Pacheco, as well as Jerick McKinnon. I think the Chiefs are going to try to run the ball. That is one area where we know that the Eagles defense has been vulnerable. They are just 22nd in defensive DVOA against the run. The Chiefs are actually 8th in offensive DVOA against or running the football. They average 4.6 yards per carry, and I think that they can get to 101 yards and get that even money on that one. And then my last Chiefs prop bet, Chiefs getting a rushing touchdown. If Pacheco gets it, I'm happy. We can both take that to the bank. If it's McKinnon, I'm also happy. If it's Blake Bell doing the Chiefs version of a quarterback sneak because they're afraid to hurt Patrick's knee again, I'm happy to take that as well. But I do think the Chiefs will get at least one of their touchdowns on the ground. Although when the Chiefs played the Eagles in 2021, it was all Patrick Mahomes. He threw 5 touchdown passes. So maybe they won't. But I think they'll get at least one rushing touchdown in this game. My team props for the Eagles. Eagles average 18.2 points per first half. That is tops in the NFL. The over-under on their first half total, only 12.5. I think that they go over that. Not unlike where you are, Ben, with their multiple touchdowns in the first half. We both will win on that because I think that they will score at least 13 and probably more close to what you're talking about there with 15 to 16 points in the first half. Quarters won. So I think that the Eagles will win one of the 4 quarters. I think we'll probably have a quarter that's tied. And then I think the Chiefs will win a couple of the quarters, but I get plus 170 on that. I don't think the Eagles are going to win 3 quarters. So the only concern here is them winning 2. And, but I like the plus 170 to go with the 1 quarter 1. And I feel like that's a decent enough bet for me to take a risk on. And we're going to play a little squares, just like the office that you're everybody, selling squares. I'm going to go the last digit of each team's final score. Kansas City gets a 7. The Eagles get a 4. That's paying me plus 250, or I'm sorry, 2,500. How about that? Let's add a 0 to that.
Even better.
Yeah. So Chiefs win 37-24, 27-24. I'm feeling good. I've got this win plus 2,500. Doing a little squares that we all are familiar with from the days back when we could not bet legally, and we all bet pretending like we were doing it for charity when in fact we were probably not. All right, player props for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, at least 325 passing yards, plus he wins the MVP award. That's paying me 460, plus 460. Mahomes has gone over 325 10 times this year. And if he goes over 325 and the Chiefs win, he is obviously the MVP of the game, plus 460. I think he's paying like plus 160 to get the MVP award. So I'm almost tripling my money there by going for the 325 passing yards. I really like that payoff. Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns is paying me plus 500. He's had 2 touchdowns in 3 of his last 11 playoff games. So yeah, is it likely to happen? No, but are the odds of it happening better than 1 in 5? I think so. And I like the chance to win plus 500 on that. I feel like puts me in a pretty decent position on that Travis Kelce bet. Chris Jones, sack and a Chiefs win. I know you guys, or Tommy, you're on the Jones bandwagon. Sack, Chiefs win, plus 240. He doesn't have to go crazy. He doesn't have to have a bunch of sacks. He doesn't need to be the MVP, although he is paying plus 5,000 to win the MVP. And if Chris Jones gets 2 sacks, 2.5 sacks, and 3 or 4 tackles for losses, plus $5,000 on that MVP bet, maybe it's worth dropping $10 down on it just in case. Who knows? I think that I think Jones will have a nice game. All right, player props for the Eagles. I'm going to go ahead and lump Chris Jones in here. I'm going to get a bonus Chiefs player pick because I think Hassan Reddick, and Chris Jones each getting 2 sacks pays me plus 3,000. If there are 2 guys on the field capable of getting multiple sacks, it is these 2 guys. And would anybody be surprised if both of them finished the game with 2.5 sacks? No. So plus $3,000. I'm taking that, dropping $10 on that and winning 300 if they decide to go off. I can't beat that. Dallas Goedert, longest reception over 19.5 yards. Chiefs are really going to be focused on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They're probably going to have a spy on Jalen Hurts, so fewer people to cover the tight ends. Goddard is a really good tight end. I can see the middle of the field being open for him. I can see a couple of catches where he's getting between 15 and 25 yards. I think one of those is going to be a 20-yarder for sure. It's negative money at minus 109, but I really like that as a bet. I think Goddard's going to have a good game simply because the Chiefs' corners are going to be focused on those wide receivers. Race to 20 rushing yards. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts at plus 270. I think he will be the first player in the game to get to 20 rushing yards. And at plus 270, how can I turn away from that money? I like it. We know he's going to be a focus of the running game. We know that in that first quarter, he's going to carry the ball 3 or 4 times. All he needs to do is have a couple of those be 8 or 9 yards, and he is going to be our first 20-yard rusher in the game, and I'm going to win that bet. My exotic props, I'm going to leave the coin tosses to you guys. Will there be a 2-point attempt? Yes. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say the guy who just scored the touchdown is going to score the 2-point conversion and get an octopus. But I do think that there will be a 2-point attempt in the game at least once. That's paying me plus 110. I don't hate it because as the scenario that you laid out, fourth quarter, trying to cut a deficit down to just 1 score, we're going to see 2-point conversion attempts for sure. Combined jersey numbers of all touchdown scores over 160.5. Now, the wide receivers are not going to help me out here, but you get a touchdown from Dallas Goedert. I get a touchdown from Travis Kelce. Boom. I'm well over 160 just for those 2 guys. Everything else is gravy at that point. Combined jersey numbers of my touchdown scores over 160.5. It is only paying minus 105, but I like the bet too much to care. I want to cash that check. It doesn't matter if it's not going to be plus money.
And my for
What's
that.
that?
I need to check something real quick for that because that could be huge for you.
Well, the Chiefs are going to have to get touchdowns either from Kelsey, Jody Fortson, Blake Bell, Noah Gray. The wide receivers all wear pretty small numbers. I think Sky Moore at number 24 is about as actually if Watson scores, he's in the 80s. But yeah, the wide receivers and the running backs aren't going to help me out. But the tight ends, this is a tight end bet. I'm all for the tight ends to do this. All right, my last prop bet. You guys, you got the coin toss handled. I'm going to go with the national anthem. The line right now is 2 minutes and 2 seconds. That is paying me plus 105 if I go under that. Now, there was a couple, I was reading, I was doing my research on the national anthem prop. Now, right now, the average national anthem is a minute 43. Chris Stapleton is a country singer. And there is a thought that if he's got an acoustic guitar out there, he'll slow things down, really take his time. But Mickey Guyton was a country singer, went 150. Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson, they're country adjacent. They were 147 and 134. I like that. I think that that Chris Stapleton, he wants to get in. He's going to do his thing. He's not like some of these R&B singers where they're adding all kinds of crazy extra notes at the end and extra stanzas. I think that he just sticks to the basics. He's America. And he gets that baby in under 202, and I win the national anthem bet. Then you guys can fight over the coin toss after that.
Is it just the length of the song, or like is
The
there a
length of the song.
specific cutoff? Like if if he throws in a "God Bless America" at the end,
No.
that pushes it over the end. It doesn't count.
Once
When
the
he
end
finishes-
of Brave.
Yeah.
Right there.
Chiefs,
When he
whenever they all
finishes
shut
Brave, yeah,
up. They all-
yeah. When he starts with O and he finishes with Brave, that's the timing of the national anthem bet.
Fair.
You have a problem with that? You
No. I was just I don't know. Like it's 202. In my head, I feel like it's going to be longer, but I mean, you laid the numbers out. It's just initial shock, I think.
The longest one in history was like 237. So there have been some long ones.
I do have a thought about this. Chris Stapleton will enunciate his notes, but I don't think it's the notes like an R&B singer that you were saying. I think it's the pauses in between that are going to get him really, really close to that line because Chris Stapleton likes to let you know when he's singing, you know?
Well, and that is if he's got the acoustic guitar and he's in complete control over the speed of the music, then things could slow down a little bit. If he's got a band with him, then maybe it changes.
This is the most analysis we've provided all night.
Hey, this is big stuff. I mean, this is
you got a plus money bet on it. I mean, like,
it's
we got to talk about it.
It's the first bet of the night. It's it sets the tone for the whole rest of the evening. If you win that national anthem bet, you are good to go. That can pay for the rest of your night.
You need to have a fat parlay, and that'd be the start of it. So that the second that you lose that one bet, it ruins the entire start of the football game, even before the first snap.
14 leg parlay that begins with the national anthem and ends with the Gatorade shower.
I love that.
So, gentlemen, shall we make our favorite picks? And obviously, for game picks, we are somewhat limited. There's only the one game, but Tommy, you did win the quiz. So if you would like to make your absolute favorite bet of the entire day, everything that's available to bet on Super Bowl Sunday, it can be a mixed sports prop if you want. It can be something we haven't touched on. It can be any of the 45 props we talked about, or it can just be the game in general.
See, I would go with the game in general at Chiefs plus 1.5, but you know what? I am so confident, so unbelievably confident in Kenneth Gainwell's over 20.5 rushing yards that I have to pick it. I don't know what it is about this guy, but he has me like head over heels for his style of play. I have to go for it.
Over 20.5. Okay. So Ben, Do you have anything that you feel that confident about?
Now, I would tell most listeners, go join me on this two-leg parlay on a 2-day experience between the UFC title fight between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. I'm taking Makhachev and the Chiefs. That's going to pay me plus 158, but I'm sure none of you care about that one. I'm going to go I'm going to go with the Travis Kelce anytime touchdown and KC win at plus 195. It's been beautiful money so far on those anytime touchdowns and wins. So I'm just going to write it out and call it a good season.
All right, Kelsey, anytime TD and KC win. I like it, obviously. For me, I am going to go with the Mahomes 325 passing yards. He had 338 against the Bills. He had 423 against the 49ers, 352 and 328 against the Broncos, 326 against Cincinnati just 2 weeks ago. 325 and he wins the MVP. Paying me plus 460. I'm liking it. 325 MVP award. Big money.
That's a good one.
Guys, I think that kind of does us for our Super Bowl spectacular. We have given more bets for today's in this week's show and for Sunday's game than we have in any other week of the season. Good on you guys for doing all of the getting inside all of the different sports books and finding where the edges are. It is the biggest sports betting day of the year. 50 million Americans expected to drop some money on the game. $16 billion are going to be wagered on the Super Bowl. And hopefully we have helped you win a few of those dollars. That is all for us this week. We are going to be here. So the season is ending, obviously. We are going to do a Super Bowl recap show. We're going to go through our prop bets, see how we did. Then we are going to look ahead to free agency and where the quarterbacks may land. We may know where Derek Carr is by the time we record next week. We will try to put an odds number on to where Aaron Rodgers goes after he does his little 5-day darkness retreat. Boy, I really am just so over that guy. Just go away already.
Retire, go home.
He's so weird.
Where Lamar Jackson will be. It's a lot more teams need quarterbacks than there are quarterbacks available. So it is definitely going to be a musical chairs with about 3 chairs missing. So it'll be an interesting time, but we'll be doing an off-season show later on as when the season starts back in March. And then we are going to be here to talk about the NFL draft, the end of April. We are going to give you some betting lines on the draft. We're going to make our predictions as to who's going to be drafted where and where those best bets lie. So even though the NFL season is ending, we are not ending. And of course, the NFL is now 12 months a year. Betting on it never ends. So we will be here to help guide you. Thank you so much to my co-hosts, Tommy Birch and Ben O'Connell. Thanks to our sponsors at Sports 2.0 Network and USA Wager. I am Kyle Garlett, wishing you a wonderful Super Bowl and happy betting.
Guys, I am shocked the Broncos are not playing this week.